Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I want to say some words. Normalize the proper characterization of black intentions. When it comes down to it, if a man says "I come in peace," that's it. Don't add extras to his intentions as you speak out into the world about what it is that he's saying when he's saying "I come in peace." This is his problem with the media in the first place, and I'm pretty sure it started the war that's making them attack him in the way that they are right now. I'm looking at all these different pundits, one by one, condemn this man for something that we know the punishment ain't fitting the crime. He has apologized 3 times, given money back. They're talking about they're going to mess with different things, trying to Kanye this man. And obviously we've talked about it all day, and we've been talking about this type of subjects all month. But as I'm looking at this situation, I'm listening to Shannon. He's like, Kyrie doesn't understand that he's lumping all of his people, all of the Jewish people together in trying to point out a few who may have fit whatever the offense may have been or what have you. Shannon was essentially saying that's wrong. You can't do that. And I agree with that. You don't want to lump everybody together, but at the same time, I don't think that's a proper characterization of what Kyrie is actually doing. Kyrie Irving is posting a link to a movie that may be doing those things, but that's not necessarily what he's doing. And they're punishing him as if he created the movie and is selling and distributing the movie. And I just think that there's something very, very wrong with that. I can understand being offended by what's in the movie. I can understand being upset at Kyrie Irving sharing the movie. But I don't understand why making him an example of why the movie and its ideals should be condemned is proper. It looks wrong to me. And I think it's one of those situations where we need to stand up and look at that in a real way. Now, I have a lot of different things that I've said under this camera out of frustration. And I encourage everybody to go back and look at them so you know exactly what it is you're looking at. Because I'm not somebody who's afraid to speak, and I will continue to speak out freely on this topic. But I do think at the end of the day that people are being painted out to be something that they're not, yet again, as if we haven't seen this done to black people forever in this country and in this world. The mischaracterization of what our intentions are. We've seen it with Kaepernick, the greatest example. He told the whole world out of his own mouth what it was that he intended to do. And yet, those who had the ears of the people sang out the opposite of what it was that his intentions were. Perverted those intentions entirely and then weaponized those people against him to break him. It's exactly what's happening here with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is not an anti-Semite. Kyrie Irving is somebody who's trying to uplift his people. Those people that he's trying to uplift are people who look like me. And unfortunately in this country, when people look like me or uplifted, historically that's been seen as something, as a bad thing. But I think the history will tell you that the only reason why it's seen as a bad thing is because they've always wanted to keep control over us, keep us broken, keep us in our opinions intact. Why? I think out of fear. I think they fear of our uprising more so than they fear of anything else. And the sad thing is, all they're really initiating is that uprising, if they're to act like this. It's sad because I think there are a lot of black people who are not awake to why this is bad. So those who are most affected by this, in a lot of cases, are none the wiser as to why it should change. So they're looking at people like me saying, Kyrie did this to himself. Kanye did this to himself. Yes, I don't know why we are here. I don't know why we got to this point. I don't know why Kanye did what he did. I'm still confused why he started that process. I do believe Kyrie might have piggybacked that. Just by, looking at the situation and taking the understanding and then seeking more information on his own. I believe that. And then sharing it to piggyback what Ye was doing. I have as well, talking about it in my channel, on this channel here, bringing this conversation and saying what my ignorance was and what I was looking to seek and learn in conversations I'm hoping to have in my life. And it's like one of these situations where I'm having all these conversations and then this unfolds like this. And if you go back and look at the timeline of things, you'll be like, wow, Brennan was just talking about this right before all of this. That's how it goes for me a lot of times. So I just try to speak my truth, and I just look and see this yet again. And I'm like, when Kaepernick's situation was going on, I didn't have a channel. I couldn't get up here and say, yo, that is not what his intentions are, and they're lying about that. They're making a good guy look as if he's a bad guy, and a lot of good people are believing it. And I think that's what's happening here too. In fact, I know that's what's happening here, and so I'm gonna speak out against it, man. And it's sad because I'm a passionate Laker fan. Boycotting the NBA is not something I'm going to do, but I feel like I'm wrong for it. I really do. And my spirit feels like I should not be a part of anything that's going on in regards to supporting the structure of things as it pertains to being able to do this to an athlete for having a difference of opinion. I remember hearing about Enes Kanter's situation I wasn't aware of. I just wasn't aware. You know, and even though Enes Kanter does stand on opposite sides of opinions that I hold, at the end of the day, when you stand up for something real and you get kicked out of the league because of it, that needs to be acknowledged. And while some say, oh, his cachet wasn't this, or he doesn't side with me on some of the opinions I have, like I said, it does not. But wrong is wrong and right is right. And I don't think he should have been kicked out of the league, just like I don't think Kyrie should be suspended for speaking up on things that they believe are true. Censorship is a slippery slope, and I don't want to hear everything. And I do believe there should be someone in place to help us filter out what it is our young minds and innocent minds shouldn't be subjected to. But where that begins and ends, and what gets most importance and what takes precedent over other things must be defined by greater minds than who are in place right now. They are using archaic, old methods that harm people to uplift other people, who belittle people and break people as a means of exalting the people they're trying to protect. That is a wicked practice, a wicked, racist practice. Is often pointed at people that don't look anything like them, people who are not usually looking to harm them or initiate any hurt toward them. Just someone who will bring a truth that doesn't necessarily vibe with theirs, a conflicting truth that they could very well sit at a table and debate but refuse to. Why? Ask why. If you align with your friends, ask them why they won't sit down and have a debate, a real debate about these conversations, bringing all of the evidence, including the DNA, to the table so we can debunk all of this. And then properly define who's anti what and who's who. That's the only right way to handle this, because people are being sneaky and we know it. Why haven't they told us what's in that damn documentary that's so bad that Kyrie is going to be treated this way? Why haven't they told us what's in there? In any other situation, they would have laid out each and every footnote, and this is there, and this is there, and this is there, and this is there. If it were any other subject of any other kind, you would get all the details necessary, especially when it's time to tell you about a black man's transgressions and how it affected the franchise. They can tell you every bit of the details except for if it's a woman involved who happened to be Caucasian, then you will never know about her ass. I'm tired of the racism, and I'm tired of people telling me it's not racism when I know it's racism. Tired of it. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not going to cower. And I don't think anybody else should either if they have something to say. I don't. I think voices need to be heard. Especially if you got something good to add to the equation in regards to how to have loving conversations that don't involve this type of wrath. Lack of forgiveness, lack of compassion, lack of empathy for another person's side because you've had something pointed at you that you did not like. Now you want to tell everybody else they're the worst person in the world, but all we see is you being that there. That's all we see. So I don't know what else to say, man. I've been speaking on this, using my voice to help the ones that are, you know what I mean, not able to speak out. Some of the people that are behind the paywall that have financial situations wrapped up in keeping their job. If their marriage is on the line, they think it's gonna go left if they lose their job and all of that stuff. If it ain't backed by God, I can promise you ain't keeping it anyway. I'll tell you that for those who don't believe in God, I'm sorry for bringing that into the equation, but the math is the math, man. It is what it is. And that's what this fight is ultimately about. Who are the people of God? Is it the ones who say they are, or the ones who don't know who they are, or both? People are lying. People are hiding things. People are pinning people against one another so that conversation can be had. I hope you see it. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.